Hi, I'm gonna make you something sweet today. Today we're making chocolate chip cookies from my favorite place to get all of my recipes, Taste of Home. They're excellent, and if you do subscribe to them, you won't be disappointed. They have so many great recipes. So today, what they're called are, let me give you the official name. They are peanut butter oatmeal chip cookies, and these are the best. This recipe makes like 60 cookies. Most of the time when I make them, I only make half a batch, but today I'm making the whole shebang. So I'm starting with 2.5 cups of melted butter. I did not fully melt it. I just got it softened. So you want it to be soft. Yeah, I have a little bit of meltiness in there, because what are you gonna do? You throw it in the microwave, you get them softened up, and of course some gets really melted, but that'll be fine. As long as the whole thing doesn't turn to liquid, you're good. So you want that slightly softened, you don't want it totally liquid. So 2.5 cups of butter softened. Next thing is my half a cup of peanut butter, and I usually use creamy peanut butter because I don't want those nutty textures in my cookies. I'll leave that to the chocolate chips. Whatever your favorite creamy peanut butter is, that's what you can use. So, getting all the creaminess in there. And next up, 2 cups of sugar. So, I have just filled my sugar, so it's all ready to go. 2 cups. I'll measure it all out. You want it pretty level. I've got a big thing of sugar in there. I have a big heart thing in there. I don't want that in my cookies, so I'm gonna pull that out. Actually, I'm gonna pull this out. Look at this big lump of sugar. I do not want that in my cookies. It would probably be okay, but I'm not gonna do it. So there's 1 cup, and you want it pretty level, so make sure they're nice level cups of sugar. 2 cups of sugar. Put that big lump in there. I will deal with that later. And 2 cups of brown sugar. We are going to sugar things up. So I have a little bit I need to reuse. So what I like to do is I like to keep it in the bag because that keeps it soft. For me, at least, it works. And then I keep it in a Tupperware container. So what I do is I put my cup inside the bag, and then I don't get my hands all messy, and I push it down with my fingers because you want brown sugar to be packed. Oh, there's my oven that I have preheated at 375. So oven is at 375. All right, that brown sugar bag is done, and I already have opened my fresh bag, but it looks like I need to make my opening a little bit bigger for the 1 cup. And then I go ahead and I stick that right down in there. And I'm going to, once again, use the outside of the bag and push my fingers to make it a nice, packed, level cup of brown sugar. So there's 1, and I need 2. So I'm going in for the second one. And you put a little bit in there, pack it down. You know, it's like playing in the sandbox, but not getting messy, and you're gonna be able to eat it. So there's my 2nd cup of brown sugar. And I'm gonna mix what I have a little bit, my sugars, and my butter and my peanut butter. So I'm just gonna mix that around a little bit, get that all incorporated. Those of you that have, you know, the stand mixers, and this would be a good time to, you know, turn it on and get it all mixed around, but I like to use my arm muscles. All right. My mom always did this, and of course, you know, I'm gonna do what my mom did. She never had the fancy mixer. I don't even know, was that a thing back in the ancient days? All right, oh, you can smell the peanut butter already. So if you're liking peanut butter, these cookies are for you. All right, so I just have it mixed up a little bit. And of course, my recipe turned off. There we go. 4 large eggs. I'm getting my 4 large eggs. And of course it says room temperature, but I never remember to get them out ahead of time. So it works just as well when you just pull them right out of the refrigerator. All right. There's 3, and no shells in there so far. All right, there are my 4 eggs. And now I do want to mix all of those up into the sugars and everything mixture that I already have. I know I'm making this large batch because my youngest just graduated, and I'm making these for his graduation party in a week. So these cookies are excellent to make, and then you can freeze them, and they are just as good after they've thawed. So these are great to make ahead of time and then pull them out of the freezer. You know, I'll probably pull them out the morning of, and they'll be ready by party time. And these cookies are always a big hit with the kids, adults, and they make, they're a soft cookie. So if you like crispy, crunchy cookies, sorry, these are more of the soft ones. And they hold up their softness even after freezing. All right, I've got the eggs all incorporated. So next I'm gonna start working on the dry ingredients, and I'm just gonna start throwing them in. Oh wait, I gotta put in some vanilla. I almost forgot the vanilla because I have to scroll up. So 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I usually buy pure vanilla extract. For me, that's what I prefer. And I don't get the really expensive vanilla. Once again, 2 teaspoons. And of course, I'm running low. Should have used my Pampered Chef teaspoons that sit nicely, because I ran out of vanilla on that one, so I have to open my new one. So once again, and of course it's not cooperating because the thing that I just opened didn't work. So we're gonna use a knife to open that little plastic thing. But yeah, I don't spend a lot on my vanilla. I just, you know, I use McCormick's, or this one's called Durkee. Isn't that a weird name for seasonings? All right. So it'll be just as good vanilla. If you buy the expensive ones, fabulous. let me know if there's a huge difference in taste. And let me mix in the vanilla before I put in all of my dry ingredients. And some people like to put all of their dry ingredients into a different container. But I say, who wants to wash one more thing? Not me. So I'm just gonna dump it all right in the same thing that I've mixed everything else. So hold on your hats. We need 6 cups of flour. I just have all-purpose flour. I'm gonna use my same measuring cup that I used for the sugar. And you want levels. Okay, so some people get out the knife and they level it all, so it's fabulous. Okay, I eyeball it, I shake it. Here's 1 cup. And I'm gonna be counting out loud, because if I just keep talking to you about random things, then I will forget what number I'm on. There's 2. We're going for 3. Here's 3. And 4. And shaking it off, leveling it, 5. 1 more. 1 more flour. And yeah, it's pretty level. 6. Good. Now, my butter that I chose had salt in it, but the recipe also calls for salt, so I do a little bit less because I know my butter had salt in it. It calls for 2 teaspoons. I'm gonna put in like 1.5, and this is my salt box that I like, and I always keep 1/2 teaspoon sitting in there, so I just put in 1 teaspoon, and here's my other. So I'm just doing 1.5 because my butter was salted. That's up to you. If you like salty things, you can keep it normal. I need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. So here's my baking soda. And let me get a new teaspoon. Okay. Do a lot of cooking, so I've got, here we go. I've got lots of different kinds of teaspoons to use. And I always like to use the edge of the baking soda to level it off. So there's 1 baking soda and 2. It also calls for baking powder. So I have that right here, and I need to do a 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. That would be an 1/8 and not a 1/2. Don't want to get the wrong measurements. We don't want 1/2 tablespoon. That would be horrible. There we go. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. You know, it all helps with how it rises and the softness of it. All right, that's all my dry powdery ingredients. And I'm going to very gently and carefully combine these. And this is where, you know, if you have those stand mixers, that would come in a little bit handy. It would be probably faster than by hand. But my kitchen is so tiny, I really haven't figured out, you know, how I would keep a stand mixer. I would have to keep it in the basement. And then if things are in the basement far away from your kitchen, then you tend to not use them as much because you wouldn't want to keep going down there and getting it every time, even though we use our basement a lot. All right, it takes a while to get this mixed together. So Let me get mixing a little bit more, and then I'll come back to you. All right, I am back. And we have it all incorporated. Oh, it's super heavy. This is making a lot of cookies. So next are whatever you want to put in it for chocolate chips. It calls for 2 cups of semi-sweet. So a lot of times I don't even measure. I just dump them in there. But since you're here, I'm gonna measure 2 cups. It's basically 2 cups actually. Is this whole bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And then it says 1 2/3 cups. Who's gonna measure 2/3? Do whatever you want. Peanut butter chips or milk chocolate chips. I don't have peanut butter chips on hand, so I'm just gonna put in milk chocolate. So use whatever you want. And notice I didn't even measure that. I had like 3/4 of a bag left and I threw it in there. What, do you think the chocolate chip police is gonna come after you? No, these are your cookies. You do what you want. All right, I got all my chips in there. It's gonna take a while to get them all incorporated and mixed around. But before I really dig into it and get it mixed around, you have one more ingredient. 1 cup of quick cooking oats. And of course I put them away. What was I thinking? So pulling them back out because I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna clean up my kitchen. I'm gonna put away the Quaker oats that I haven't even used. All right, 1 cup. So I'm just going to pour them over, and if some of them spill in there, you're fine. Quick cooking oats. Now you could make it without the quick cooking oats, but it just adds that little extra something. I don't even know what. More of a texture. But you know, you're not gonna really taste a lot of that. So now this is really, you know, it's a good mixture. It's really good. It's gonna take me a few minutes to get everything mixed up. Oh, and I just wanted to, a fun thing with this cookie recipe, when, as teachers, when we had to, I'm a teacher if you didn't know, when we had to do everything online and teach online, I'm telling you, it was difficult. I'm a junior high teacher. What I did at the end of the year with my junior high kids is I emailed this recipe to all the parents, and I told them that if they wanted to, they could have their kids make cookies with me. And we had a blast. So parents had everything. Some of the kids had all the ingredients already, and so they were just dumping. Some of the kids had to go grab things as we were making these. But it was a lot of fun, and we talked back and forth because, you know, we have all these kids working on making cookies, and I'm making mine at the same time. So I think it was a good memory for these kids, and they watch a lot of my videos. So you guys let me know, comment below if you're like, yeah, this was awesome, we enjoyed it. And I do know that some of them are like, we should do it again. And they do want me to make videos in the classroom and have them cook something. I haven't ventured quite into that yet. Maybe if I can find something easy for all of us to do in the classroom and show you my students making things, they would be into that. I know some of them during lunch were watching some of my videos. They're the greatest kids. Shout out to the kids, woo-woo, you're awesome. So, I think actually through all my talking here, I've got them mixed up pretty well with the chips the oatmeal and all those other fantastic ingredients. And my oven is set at 375. So next thing, I'm gonna move this over a little bit so you guys can see. I'm gonna start putting them on my pan. So oven set 375. What I do, because I don't want to get messy hands, is I use two like bigger kind of serving spoons, and I use them to get like a serving spoon glob, and then I use the other spoon to push it onto my pan, and then I just start putting them on. So you can make whatever size you want. So I'm gonna fill my pan with my cookies. It's a sheet pan that is not greased. And I'm just gonna keep working away at getting them on there. You do wanna make sure that they're all kind of the same size, otherwise you don't want any to burn. So I'm gonna finish doing that. And then I'm gonna pop them into the oven for 9 minutes, and then we'll take them out and I will show you the deliciousness. See you soon. All right, I have taken some of these out. They're nice and golden brown, and you want them to sit on the tray for a couple minutes after you take them out of the oven. Otherwise, they're too soft to move over to the warming trays. But I have a few warming over here, and I can show them to you. All right, so here is the deliciousness, and look at the back. It's got a nice, you know, golden brown to it. Chocolate chips coming off of there, and then I'm gonna open it, crack it open. And on the inside, it's melty and yummy. The outside is a little crisp, but the inside is so soft. It's crunching out, and it's sweet. It's still a little gooey on the inside. So these are so yummy. And like I said, you can freeze them. I usually make half of a batch, but now I've got my 60 or so cookies that I'm making for graduation party. We'll eat a few, we'll freeze a lot, and they'll be all ready to go. So enjoy these cookies, they're awesome. I'm going to finish all my baking, turn some music on, and get rolling through the rest of these. Bye guys. Comment, like below, and try these cookies. Okay, so Tater was here the whole time. He was just being a really good boy. Weren't you, Taties? You're a good boy, my Taties.